Evening shrouded the city in a soft gloom as Alice and Michael Taylor, laughing and sharing stories of the day before, headed home in their old but reliable sedan. The streets were nearly empty, and the air was filled with the tranquility of the night ahead. The tranquility was deceptive, however. As soon as they turned onto the main road, the world around them was suddenly transformed. Suddenly, from behind the corner, as if materializing out of nothing, appeared a car driven by Nicholas Wood. He was speeding at 160 km/h, and in one fateful moment he lost control of his car. In an attempt to avoid colliding with something on the road, he turned the steering wheel sharply, which led to catastrophic consequences. His car flew into the oncoming lane and crashed into the Taylor's sedan with such force that the world around him lost its colors for a moment. The impact was deafening. The sound of crushed metal and broken glass filled the air, creating a chaos of sounds and sensations. Alice and Michael's sedan was thrown back several meters, while Nicholas's car, after a brief flight, slammed violently into the nearest pole. In the moment after the collision there was silence, broken only by hoarse breathing and the faint hiss of the ruined cars. Alice, stunned but unharmed. Trying to realize what had happened, she found her body wedged between the mangled metal sheets of their car. Michael lay nearby, unconscious, his face pale and a gash visible on his head. In the other car, through the shattered windshield, Nicholas could be seen trying to extricate himself from the wreckage of his car, blood streaming down his face, but in his eyes was a determination to help. Nicholas, with difficulty, but crawled out of his wrecked car. With great difficulty, he was able to open the door on my side and helped me out of the wrecked sedan. He called an ambulance himself, his hands shaking as he carefully bandaged my head, trying to stop the blood. Afterward, he knelt down in front of me and suddenly sobbed. Tears streamed down his face like a child, completely resigned to the gravity of the moment that had changed our lives forever. Alice and Michael Taylor, the epitome of brotherly and sisterly love, were known for their inseparability and mutual support. Alice, a recent college student, had a passion for interior design, dreaming of one day creating not just spaces, but entire worlds where everyone could find refuge from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Her creativity and inexhaustible optimism infected everyone around her, making her a favorite among her professors and classmates. Michael, Alice's younger brother, recently graduated with an honors degree in engineering. His passion for the latest technology and drive for innovation had already begun to bear its first fruits in the professional sphere. Together they were an unbeatable duo, full of ideas and plans for the future. Their home in Sacramento was a place of warmth and comfort. The walls of this house kept the stories of their happy childhood, and every corner reminded of the funny adventures they had together. Evenings were often spent sitting in the backyard, where they shared their deepest dreams and plans for the future under the stars. Nicholas Wood, on the other hand, was a colorful figure in the world of technology. His success in building startups and developing innovative solutions was admired and respected by his peers and competitors. Despite his achievements, Nicholas remained true to his roots, keeping in touch with his family and friends, who knew him not as a successful businessman, but as a kind, helpful person, always ready to help. His love of speed and adrenaline, however, sometimes caused him to make rash decisions, jeopardizing not only his own safety, but the safety of those around him. That evening, as Alice and Michael, filled with the day's experiences, headed home and Nicholas decided to test drive his new car, their paths crossed in a most unexpected and tragic way. This collision not only changed their lives, but also showed how fragile the world we live in can be, and how important it is to appreciate every moment spent with loved ones. In the hospital room where Alice was recovering from the accident, the air was saturated with tension and bitterness. Suddenly, the door swung open and Alice's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Taylor, burst into the room. Mrs. Taylor's eyes filled with tears and rage when she saw Nicholas standing at their daughter's bedside. "I hate you." Mrs. Taylor's cry of pain and despair cut through the silence. She rushed to Nicholas, clawing at his face, as if trying to express all her pain and anger through this gesture of despair. Mr. Taylor, his hair graying as if it had turned gray in the past few days, took her by the shoulders, but his eyes burned with no less anger. "You killed our son." His voice was deep and sharp as a blade. "You decided your speed was more important than the lives of others." Nicholas backed away, covered in scratches, his eyes full of tears. I never meant for this to happen. I'm so sorry. Regret is not enough. Mrs. Taylor cried out again, her voice trembling with hatred. You took our son from us. How can you stand here and apologize? Your regret won't bring Michael back. Mr. Taylor looked at Nicholas with contempt. You have to live with this burden. We will never forgive you. You will always be a murderer to us. The atmosphere in the room was so thick with anger and sadness that it seemed you could cut it with a knife. Alice, lying in bed, cried silently as she watched this devastating encounter. Her parents' words, full of hatred and despair, reflected the deep wound left by the tragedy, which no words could heal. At the same time, Nicholas was faced with having to live with the realization of his guilt. He did not try to shirk his responsibility by cooperating fully with the police and doing everything he could to alleviate the Taylor family's suffering. He tried to contact them to express his condolences and offer whatever help was available to him, even though he realized that his words meant little in the face of their loss. There was a tense silence in the courtroom as the jury returned with their verdict. All eyes were fixed on them, especially those of the Taylor family and Nicholas, each awaiting the verdict with a tingle in their hearts. After careful consideration of all the evidence and testimony, we, the jury, find that Nicholas is not criminally responsible for the accident that occurred. The foreman of the jury said firmly. It was found that the accident was caused by defective brakes, for the condition of which Nicholas could not be held responsible. Mr. Taylor could hardly contain his feelings, his eyes filled with tears, and Mrs. Taylor lowered her head, trying to hide her disappointment and grief. But how? How can it be fair? She whispered, barely audible. Nicholas, standing next to his lawyer, felt relief mixed with deep sadness. He turned to the Taylor family, a look of genuine regret in his eyes. I never meant for this to happen. His voice shook. I know it won't change what happened, but I will always regret that night. The Taylor family's lawyer, standing next to them, put his hand on Mr. Taylor's shoulder, trying to support him. We did everything we could to get justice for Michael, he said quietly. Sometimes justice doesn't work the way we would like it to. The trial ended. But for everyone involved in the tragedy, life went on, full of pain, questions, and the search for reconciliation and healing. The first meeting between Alice and Nicholas after the trial happened quite unexpectedly for both of them. The initiator was Nicholas, who wanted to discuss the installation of a monument on Michael's grave. This conversation was the beginning of their unusual relationship. Alice, I'd like to discuss a monument for Michael with you. I feel it's my moral obligation, and I want to do everything I can to make it worthy. Nicholas began with some hesitation. Alice was stunned by his suggestion, but at the same time she sensed in his words a sincere desire to make amends. This is very important to us. I'm grateful that you want to do this, Nicholas, she replied, feeling her heart fill with complex emotions. From that moment on, they began visiting the cemetery together, discussing the details of the monument, choosing materials and design. One day, standing in front of the already finished monument, Nicholas suddenly knelt down. Michael, I will never forgive myself for what happened. I beg for forgiveness, and I promise to live in a way that honors your memory, he whispered, tears running down his cheeks. Alice, watching this, felt a sudden softening in her heart. Nicholas, I see how you're suffering, and I'm grateful for what you've done for Michael. It's really beautiful, she said, putting her hand on his shoulder. From then on, their communication became regular. They shared memories of Michael, discussed their feelings and experiences. These moments became a bridge on which they slowly walked toward each other, overcoming the pain and resentment of the past. Alice, I never would have thought that after everything that has happened, we would be able to talk. I'm grateful for every moment you share with me, Nicholas confided one day. Nicholas, so am I. It's strange, but I feel like we've both found something in this trouble that brings us closer. You've shown me that you're genuinely remorseful, and that means a lot, Alice replied frankly. One fall evening, as the leaves whispered softly beneath their feet, Alice and Nicholas met in the park to discuss something that had long matured in their hearts. Alice felt each step toward Nicholas increase the excitement in her heart. Nicholas, I don't know how to begin. All this time, our conversations, your actions, they've made me look at you differently, Alice began, trying to contain the tremor in her voice. Nicholas, feeling the weight of the moment, looked at her carefully, letting her know that he was ready to listen and support her. Alice, I feel the same way, but I didn't mean to put pressure on you. I know how much you've been through, and the last thing I'd want to do is hurt you anymore, he replied softly. But how can we? How can I? It seems like a betrayal of Michael's memory, and I'm afraid that our family, our friends, they won't understand. Alice fought back tears, expressing her fears and doubts. I understand you, Alice, and I don't want you to feel guilty about your feelings in any way. We both know how much pain this tragedy has caused. But I believe that Michael wouldn't want you to deny yourself happiness, Nicholas said quietly, taking her hands in his. Alice looked at him through her tears, searching for support and understanding in his eyes. Do you think it's really possible to find happiness after everything? Can we give these feelings a chance without feeling selfish? She asked, looking for comfort in his answer. I believe we can. Our love does not diminish our love for Michael, and the forgiveness we have found in each other is the path to healing. We both deserve happiness, Alice, and I want to explore that path with you, if you'll let me, Nicholas said softly, looking sincerely into her eyes. This conversation was a moment of epiphany for Alice. She realized that forgiveness and love were the forces that could overcome any pain and resentment. Yes, Nicholas, I want to try too. We deserve this chance, she said, finally finding the strength to accept her feelings. At the top of the hill, where the sun was gently slipping towards sunset, Alice and Nicholas stood holding hands and soaking up the last rays of the day. All around them, the palette of sunset colors spilled out, reminding them of the beauty of the world even after the hardest of trials. I had never imagined that after all that had happened, the world would be colorful again. But with you, Nicholas, I see it that way, full of hope and light, Alice whispered, her eyes glistening with tears that were not only sadness but happiness. Nicholas pulled her close to him, and they both looked at the fading light. Alice, you have revealed to me that forgiveness is more than just words. It's the key to freeing my heart, the opportunity to start my life anew. Thanks to you, I have learned to forgive not only others, but also myself, and to believe in the future. His voice was full of gratitude and love. We lost a lot, but together we found something truly precious. We found a path to forgiveness, a fortress to love again. This is our new path, lit by the memories of the past but directed toward the future. Alice smiled through her tears, feeling relief and joy at the same time. Nicholas looked at her, their gazes intertwined. Together, Alice. All we need is to be together. Next to you, I feel like we can overcome anything. As the last rays of the sun disappeared over the horizon, leaving only a warm glow, Alice and Nicholas hugged each other tightly, ready for the new challenges of the future.